They said twins were cursed. 2 lives born in one womb. To them, it was a sign of evil. And so, the moment a poor mother gave birth to twins, her joy turned into death. For centuries, in parts of Nigeria, Benin and Ghana, a law of fear ruled over mothers. When twins were born, the elders declared them unclean. They whispered that such children carried demons. And so, before the mother could even kiss her babies, she was told one thing: take them away, or your whole family will perish. Some obeyed in silence. Some cried as they handed their babies to the forest. And some mothers carried the guilt all their lives. One night in a small village, a young woman named Ebele gave birth. Not 1, but 2 crying boys. Her husband's face froze. The midwives kept back in fear. The word spread quickly: twins! Twins have been born! By morning, the elders had gathered in her compound. Their eyes were cold. Their voices thundered. The gods do not welcome 2 lives at once. Carry them away before their curse falls on us all. Ebele's hands shook as she wrapped the babies in cloth. Her tears fell on their tiny faces. She begged her husband to speak, but he turned his back. Fear had swallowed his courage. That night, under the heavy moon, Ebele walked alone into the forest. Her twins cried against her chest. Every step cut her heart into pieces. When she reached the dark clearing, she laid her children on the bare ground. Their cries echoed into the trees. The mother's body trembled. She wanted to pick them up again, but tradition whispered louder than love. With a final glance, she turned away. The cries of her babies followed her into the night, and as she left the forest, she swore she felt a shadow walking behind her. By dawn, the villagers ran to the river near the forest. Its waters were no longer clear. The river had turned red.
The villagers stood frozen. Some said the twins had been swallowed by spirits. Others whispered that their blood had cursed the land. But for Ebele, the young mother, the curse was not in the river. It was in her heart. Every night she woke to the sound of babies crying. But when she rushed to her mat, her arms were empty. Her breast swelled with milk, yet no child fed. Her husband grew distant. The villagers avoided her. Some even spat when she passed. Mother of cursed twins, they called her. One night, unable to bear it, Ebele went back to the forest, the place where she had left them. Her feet sank into the wet ground as she approached the clearing. But what she found froze her soul. 2 tiny figures sat at the base of a tree, not alive, not dead. Their eyes glowed faintly, like fireflies trapped in the dark. And though their lips did not move, she heard their voices clearly. "Mama, why did you leave us?" Her scream pierced the forest. She stumbled back, but the trees seemed to close around her. The air grew heavy, the earth trembled, and suddenly, the sound of crying filled the forest again. Not 1 baby, not 2, but 1,000 voices calling out at once. The ground split open beneath Ebele's feet, and from the darkness, a hand, small, cold, and wet, reached for her ankle. Ebele's scream echoed through the forest, but no one heard. No one ever dared to follow her there. She ran, barefoot, through the trees, her wrapper torn, her body shaking. Behind her, the cries of the twins grew louder. By the time she stumbled back to the village, the night was silent, too silent. Not even the crickets sang. The elders gathered. They demanded to know what she had seen, but her mouth trembled. Her eyes stared blankly into the fire. At last, she whispered, "They are not gone. The twins, they are still here." The elders struck the ground with their staffs. "You have brought shame upon us," one said. "Your curse will spread if you do not cleanse yourself." But even as they spoke, a sound came from the river, a baby's cry. Soft at first, then louder, then many. The villagers rushed out with torches. What they saw froze their blood. Tiny footprints lined the sand by the river bank, but there were no babies in sight. Just shadows, dozens of them, moving against the current, as if the spirits of every abandoned twin had returned. That night, goats broke free from their pens, children fell sick without reason, and the yam barn of the wealthiest man in the village caught fire without a spark. The people knew this was no ordinary punishment. The curse had left the forest. The curse was now walking among them. As the elders argued over what sacrifice to make, a chilling voice rose from the river, a child's voice, calling each villager's name one by one. The night after the voices rose from the river, a child went missing. Little Chika, barely 5 years old. Her mother said she had only gone to fetch firewood near the compound, but when the sun set, Chika never came home. The villagers searched with torches through the forest, by the river bank. They called her name until their throats were raw. Then someone shouted, "Footprints!" Small, bare, leading into the same forest where the twins had once been abandoned. But there were 2 sets of prints, not one. Chika had walked in, but beside her, another child had walked through. A child no one in the village knew. At dawn, the searchers returned with pale faces. They found Chika's wrapper tied to a tree. Beside it, a tiny clay doll, fresh, wet from the night's rain. The oracle was called again. His eyes rolled back. His voice shook as he said, "The gods has chosen. The twins no longer wander alone. They are taking the living to join them." The mothers wailed. The fathers beat the ground, but no one dared enter the forest again. That night, another child vanished, and then another. Each time, the same footprints were found. Each time, the same clay dolls appeared, left behind as if mocking the living. By the 4th night, the whole village gathered in fear, and as the moon rose, the cries of babies echoed to the forest again. But this time, every villager swore they heard their own child's voice among the cries. The wailing would not stop. Every night, the cries of babies echoed from the forest. Every morning, another child vanished. The chief summoned the oracle once more. The old man trembled as he spoke. The spirits of the abandoned twins will not rest until their mothers return to the place of their sin. The women gasped. Those who had once abandoned their babies years ago, now old and grey, began to weep. They had buried their guilt under silence. Now the past had come for them. At dawn, 7 mothers gathered by the river. They wore white wrappers, their heads shaved. Each carried a small calabash of palm oil and a lock of their own hair. The oracle led them into the forest, the same path where their infants had been left to die. The trees whispered like mourners. The wind carried the sound of crying, faint, distant, but growing louder. Then they reached the clearing, the spot where the earth was softer, darker, where tiny bones had once rested. The oracle raised his staff. "Speak," he commanded. "Let the river hear your repentance." One by one, the mothers fell to their knees. They cried out their children's names. "I was afraid. They said twins were evil. I was only obeying the elders." Their tears soaked the ground. And as the last mother cried, the earth began to move. The villagers screamed. The soil cracked open. A soft glow rose from beneath. 2 faint figures of children holding hands, smiling through light. The air grew calm. The cries stopped. And for the first time in years, the river went silent. The curse had ended, but not without scars. The mothers left the forest that day with empty arms but lighter hearts. And from that day on, every child born in that village, twin or not, was loved. But even now, when the rain falls too hard, the villagers say they still see 2 small shadows dancing by the river, watching for any heart that forgets. Moral lesson: fear and ignorance destroy what love was meant to protect. No tradition is worth the life of a child. And that was how the curse of the abandoned twins finally ended. But the forest still remembers. If you want me to tell you another true story from our forgotten past, type story in the comments.